G'day everyone, I'm back with another one of these tip videos since you guys like them so much. So sit back, have a watch, and I hope you guys enjoy. And let me know in the comments which one was the most helpful for you. And also let me know what you want to see next from this rude lid. First tip I got for you guys is you need to prioritize, and specifically prioritize what's important and urgent. Picture this, you're in 1937, 1936, you got your first 150 political power, and you're choosing what advisor to get. You're tossing up between, say, the mobile warfare expert and your silent workhorse or your industrial concern or something like that. Out of these, which is most likely to provide you benefit here and now? I'm telling you, it's going to be either your silent workhorse or the designer, or something that's going to give you benefits that you're going to use immediately. You're not going to be at war realistically until 1938-39, so going for the mobile warfare expert, which is something that's not going to provide that benefit till way later, is a bad investment at this point in the game. So you need to prioritize what's important and urgent for you now, which early on in the game is the silent workhorse to allow you to get more advisors, or your industrial concern to help your research speed for whatever particular tech that you're wanting to go for. This extends to so many things as well. Like early on, you're better off going for your industrial or your electronics techs rather than sitting there and building up or, rushing naval techs, or even to a point like your artillery. So focus on your other early techs, which are going to help you in the here and now and help you snowball into a stronger nation later on. It's just going to maximize the benefit that you're getting out of your political power, out of your research slots, even your focuses, for example. You want to be going for the ones which are going to help you sooner rather than later. Tip number 2 is a handy little trick when you're cloning divisions, or just actually cloning them if you don't know what that is.
We're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable.
Not to me.
So if you want a similar division design to one that you already have, say for example, we want to take this one and add some artillery in it, but make a new division rather than changing all of our existing divisions, you can go to this button at the bottom of the designer and click duplicate. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a carbon copy of that previous template for you to now go ahead and make your changes however you want. It's also going to carry over all of these battalions for free, essentially. So rather than having to pay, 5, 10, 15, 45 or 50, 65 army XP to create this division from scratch, you've just done it now for free. Another best practice tip here to stop you from accidentally updating the existing template that all of your divisions in the field are and then ruining your supply. When you click the duplicate button and it comes up with a copy of infantry division, just go ahead and rename that. So we'll just call it new division, and then give it a different icon as well, and then click update. Then close the template down completely and you'll see the new template down the bottom here. Then you can rest assured that you're going to go ahead, open this one up, make sure it is this one, and then you're able to go ahead and update this, make any changes, and it's not going to ruin your supply and change the makeup of your divisions in the field. Tip number 3 is how to stop your designs being reset in the middle of making them. Now, I'm sure that we've all been here before where you're making a tank design, a plane design, a ship design, division, whatever, and then a country has pieced out, or there's some notification that pops up and it just clears the design, it just closes it. That has happened to me more times than I can count. And look, to be fair, I can't count that high, but still. Luckily for you, there's an easy fix. You're in the game, these things are popping up, you're trying to make your design, just simply hit pause. Just press the space bar, click on the timestamp in the top right, just stop the game, quickly make your design, do whatever changes you want to do, and then just click save. And then you can go ahead and start the game again. It's not that long, it won't really slow your game down that much, and it's better than getting frustrated by having your design cleared every time. It's just the easiest way. Now, if you're in multiplayer, please don't do that because your friends will be very mad. So instead, what you want to do when you open up the design, add on a couple of things, and then go ahead and click save. And then go ahead and open the design up again, add on a couple of other modules, click save, and just keep doing that until you've completed your design. It does take a bit more clicking in the short term, however, it will save you the frustration and from having to remake the whole thing again. And especially if you have something mapped out in your head and it just gets cleared out and you've got all the stats like you wanted them, it can be so frustrating. Tip number 4, one of my favorites, is when to start building your navy. I'm probably going to lose some of you navy haters out there, but honestly, I don't care. If you're going to start building a navy, you want to do it as soon as possible, especially if you're a minor nation and you're going to try and compete with the big boys out on the higher seas. Not only is there usually a large amount of research that you have to complete, especially as a smaller nation, but you also need to start your production on dockyards far earlier than other nations. You generally aren't going to start with a lot of them, and you're going to need them to build ships. They're really IC intensive machines, these boats are, so make sure you plan ahead, get your research techs done early, build up some dockyards, and you'll be able to set your production on autopilot with the assistance of my Navy guides, which I'll link below for you sookie lalas who say the Navy's too hard to play. Honestly, you just need to try a little. Tip number 5 is actually a collection of small tips for small nations. When you're playing as a small to medium power, whether it's for an achievement or a world conquest or whatever, you are going to want to go into your tanks and your aircraft production and research early. Most miners are going to start with minimal techs, like look at this. So not only do you have to compete with that, you generally also have less research slots than the major powers. Also, you generally have quite low manpower, so you can't really rely on just throwing bodies at any problem that crops up. You're going to have to be smart and make the most out of your limited resources. For me, the best way to do that is with medium tanks and close air support. You can make tanks that are honestly, look, they're cheap enough that you can make enough with your limited industry for a few divisions. And on top of that, they're generally going to be better than anything that the AI will make. Just put a bit of decent armor on there, something with a lot of soft attack too. So you're looking at like the medium howitzer, small cannon, that sort of thing. You generally want your reliability to be around 60%, and honestly, just in the interest of making this not be ridiculously expensive, around 6Ks an hour, that's more than enough for a medium tank, especially early on. Later on, you can upgrade them, get it up to at least 8 kilometers, and that will be fine. And then if we look at our close air support, just something straightforward, relatively cheap. You've got 2 bomb locks on here to give you not a terrible amount of soft attack or ground attack, sorry. This is just going to help you with those early battles, especially in bad terrains. If you're a bit of a sicko, you want to go for something a bit more like an all-rounder, attack bomber, go for your bomb locks, armor-piercing bomb locks, and light torpedo mountings. That'll get you not only a decent amount of ground attack, but also a little bit of strat bombing and some naval strike capability as well. Finally, if you do want to build some fighters to help you get a bit of air supremacy, look, just know that they are going to get shot down later on, but if you do want this to help you out in the early game, just chuck a couple of light MGs on there, try to get the armor up a little bit, and honestly, whatever you make should be better than the AI. If you put all this together, a bit of a decent air force, you've got some fighters, CAS, some of those tanks, you find that you can push a lot easier, especially through any bad terrains or dug in enemy entrenchment as well. Tip number 6, it may not feel like it, but achievements are your friends. If you've been sitting around a little bit unsure of what to do in your playthroughs, you can just jump onto the Steam page for Hoi 4 and have a look at some of the achievements you can get in the game. There is a pretty big community of people that just go out and try to get as many as they can, and you can make it a bit of a challenge between you and your friends to see who can get the most. I do that with my friends, and they are kicking my ass. When you click on View My Achievements, it will show you what you've currently got and when. You can also compare with your friends with what they have. And if you're looking for a bit of inspiration of what to do next, you can click on the Global Achievements button. And this is going to sort all the achievements by a percentage of who has, I guess, what percentage of players have each one. So essentially, it's organizing them from easiest to most difficult. So as you scroll down, you'll see ones that you haven't completed, and you can go and have a bit of a crack at them. Why not try it out? Maybe even have a look at some YouTubers that have some guides on certain achievements. Below, just go click below, please, come on. Tip number 7 is to exploit the AI. Not in a weird way, like more of a, you know what? Let's just move on. Paradox has improved the AI behavior a lot in the last couple of updates, but to be honest, you can still exploit the coding to bait enemy divisions into easy encirclements time and time again, just gradually whittling them away until you're facing a front that's pretty much just manned by hopes and prayers. One of my favorite spots is here between Greece and Turkey, and this is courtesy of Feedback Gaming. You can essentially just go ahead and push through these lines all the way to Istanbul, giving yourself a nice little encirclement here, north and south, provided we actually take this. Look, sometimes they escape, but essentially you can just go north and south, giving yourself a nice little encirclement here. Once you've gone ahead and destroyed some of their troops, you can go ahead and pull your soldiers back, and essentially just rinse and repeat all the way through, just taking out all their soldiers until Turkey has gobbled their last gobble. Tip number 8 is to attack and defend with your spies. One of the strongest uses for spies, which I think a lot of people overlook, is their ability to completely negate an enemy's planning bonus, as well as reducing enemy entrenchment by 5, which to be honest is going to be most of it with a lot of the countries you'll fight in single player. When you reach 100% network or 100% network strength rather, in a state, you can go ahead and just hover over the region when you're in the spy map mode, and it will pop up the effects on your tooltip. So you can see here, we are reducing the enemy planning factor by 100% and their entrenchment by 5. If we are holding a particular front line, this is a really strong way to give yourself a bit of extra chance, because the planning factor bonus can be up to a 40% attack bonus for the enemy. So taking that away, it's going to really help you out on the defensive end. Even alternatively, if you are going to go on the attack and you're wanting to reduce the enemy entrenchment for your own attacking troops, it can be, again, a really good way to take it away from the defensive troops and push through a lot easier, get those breakthroughs. One thing to be mindful of is the spies do have a limited range to the states surrounding where you place them. So put them too far away, for example over here, there's no intel network, so you're not going to get those bonuses. The further away you are, the weaker that network's going to be, and the less bonuses you're also going to get. Just remember that as your spies attack and you take the particular areas where they're stationed, they are going to be removed. So don't forget to redeploy them as you're advancing through enemy territory to keep those bonuses and their network strength up. And look, to be honest, this won't work in every case, but when it does, it can really frustrate an enemy's advance or help you push through a lot easier. Tip number 9 is target enemy supply hubs. Sun Tzu once said, "Bring war material with you from home, but forage from the enemy." And you know what? I think he had a point. Supply hubs and ports are costly to build, and they take production away from mills or sieves or whatever else it is that you're actually meant to be building. The benefit from seizing them from the enemy is twofold. Firstly, it'll provide you a new free supply hub for you to connect up to your network, giving your own current troops the supply that they previously lacked. It'll also reduce these pesky supply penalties, which is going to make your troops just more effective, simple as that. Secondly, it's going to starve enemy divisions of supply, hence giving them those same penalties that you were trying to avoid for your troops, making it easier for you to push. You can even target enemy railways, because if you can cut off the rail link to an enemy supply hub, you're halfway to capturing it, as now it's essentially just an empty warehouse for the enemy to cower in. Oh, well, there we go. You can use F4 to see your own and enemy supply rail networks, and just remember, a port is going to do the exact same thing as a supply hub just along the coast. And it's way cheaper. Oh my god, it's a quarter of the price. Yeah, wow. Tip number 10 is to use continuous focuses. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and say that a lot of people may not even know about these, but in your focus tree in the bottom left-hand corner, regardless of which nation you're playing, you're going to have these continuous focuses, which will provide constant buffs to your nation. You can select these after you complete your first 10, and these little green lights here will show you when you've done that. And once selected, these will basically run indefinitely, and they can be the thing which can get you over the edge in a particularly dicey war. Just having a quick run through them, the naval production increases your dockyard output by 20%, air production makes everything 10% cheaper, effectively increasing their output by 10%. Construction engineering provides a 10 to 20% boost to pretty much everything except for your main state buildings, so your sieves, mills, dockyards, and refineries. Army training is useless, but reduces your training time by 25%. Resistance suppression can be quite handy. It reduces resistance by 5% across the board, so it can go a long way to helping you out if you're having issues with that. Poland and Germany. Construction repair does what it says on the tin. It increases your factory repair speed by 50%. Tech sharing will start the tech sharing thing amongst your faction, and suppress subjects, it's available when you have subjects, will reduce daily autonomy by 0.5. So just use this when you're trying to annex your puppets or keep them from breaking free or raising their autonomy. It's well worth keeping these in mind when you're struggling to win the air war, for example, or if Poland's about to revolt for the millionth time. Especially the air production in some multiplayer games, it can be really good to help you get a bit of a leg up. And that's pretty much it for the video, except I'm bringing back the bonus tips, and today's is thus. Don't sleep on paratroopers, especially in single player. They can be incredibly effective. Look at the size of this encirclement I've gotten here on my stream the other day. I've been using them more and more, and I'm really enjoying them. I've managed to capitulate a few nations almost instantly by using paratroopers, for example, dropping into Poland or France when you're playing as Germany. And look at this, gaining huge encirclements like this, combining them with your tank divisions, taking out supply hubs, leaving enemies stranded, having huge breakouts for my troops and make massive pockets. So I'm working on a dedicated video for Paras just to showcase how strong they can be, so keep an eye out for that soon. Anyway guys, I hope you found these helpful, and let me know below which one you like the most, and also if you think you've got something that might help new players, chuck it in the comments as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I'll see you in the next one.